I yank open the corrugated box on my back patio, cardboard dust puffing into the humid Texas air. There it is, my brand new, UL-listed electric fire pit, 1,500 watts of amberglow coils waiting to simulate open flame. Its sleek, matte black steel shell gleams under the last rays of the sun, and the UL 2236 certification tag is stamped right on the underside. I slide the pit onto the flagstone floor beside my wicker sofa and imagine friends gathered around, roasting marshmallows without a wisp of smoke. Willow Creek Estates is at its golden hour best, sprinklers ticking in perfect rhythm, sprinkling dewy droplets onto emerald lawns, the faint hum of air conditioners lulling the neighborhood into early evening. I plug the pit into the GFCI outlet, lift its hinged lid, and run my palm over the faux ceramic logs. With a click of the control knob, the coils glow hot pink, then settle into a steady amber glow. A gentle wave of warmth radiates outward, no real flame, no fire risk, just clean heat and futuristic comfort. I step back, arms crossed, proud of my high-tech campfire. Mr. Thompson 2 doors down peers curiously over his fence, nodding approval. Even the stray calico that's claimed my yard as territory pads up to inspect. It's perfect, a smoke-free backyard ritual, until a shadow shifts at the kitchen window of Unit 22, and I realize Karen Atkins might already have caught wind of my hazardous new toy. The next evening, I flick the fire pit switch just as dusk settles in. The coils glow a soft amber, mimicking dancing embers beneath a stack of realistic ceramic logs. My backyard transforms into the perfect al fresco lounge, string lights twinkle above, a gentle breeze rustles the crepe myrtle, and the temperature hovers at a comfortable 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I've invited a few friends over, Marisol with her homemade graham chocolate and marshmallow skewers, and Mike, who insists on testing every gadget I buy. They settle onto the wicker love seat and Adirondack chairs, mugs of hot cocoa in hand. The pit hums quietly, sending out just enough warmth to chase away the evening chill without singeing hair or eyebrows. Across the fence, I catch movement in Mrs. Wong's upstairs window. She gives a thumbs up. Even Mr. Patel from Unit 24 peeks out his patio door, raising an iced tea in salute. No smoke, no smell, just mellow lead flame light and the soft hiss of electric warmth. We toast marshmallows, golden, gooey perfection, and swap stories under the glow. Everything is cozy, safe, and utterly smoke-free. It feels like the future of backyard bonfires, until a sudden beam of light slices through the patio darkness, and I see Karen Atkins' silhouette at my gate, phone flashlight raised as if illuminating a crime scene. Just as Marisol oozes her latest marshmallow platter toward the pit, a sharp beam of light cuts across the backyard. I glance up to see Karen Atkins standing at the edge of my patio, her phone's flashlight trained on the glowing coils like she's hunting for contraband. Without knocking or waiting for an invite, she steps inside the gate and strides purposefully to the pit. Her stilettos click against the stone as she crouches, shining the light directly into the ceramic logs. "What is this?" she demands, voice low and accusatory. "It looks like a fire hazard." I rise from my seat, cocoa mug in hand. "It's an electric fire pit, UL listed for residential use, no real flame, no smoke. See the label under here." I point to the small metal plate stamped UL 2236. Karen doesn't flinch. She reaches out, inches from the hot coils, and huffs. It's radiating too much heat. "One spark and you'll have a rollover fire." Her gaze flicks to my stacked marshmallows and then back to the pit as though she expects it to leap out and ignite my wicker furniture. Mike tries to intervene. "Karen, there's literally no combustion." But she cuts him off with a raised finger. "Save it. I'm reporting this to the HOA. Section 7.4 prohibits open flame or high heat devices on patios. You'll hear from me first thing tomorrow." Before I can respond, she snaps a photo of the pit in action and storms back through the gate, phone already in hand, fingers flying with her complaint draft. The cozy warmth flickers awkwardly as her gate clicks shut, leaving my friends and me blinking in the sudden hush. What was supposed to be a perfect, future-tech bonfire just became round one in Karen's crusade against my high-voltage hearth. I step onto the back porch with my first cup of coffee and spot it at once, a bright yellow post-it clinging to the fire pit lid's handle. In Karen's precise handwriting it reads, "Remove electric fire pit immediately. Section 7.4, open flame or high heat devices prohibited." Karen A., safety chair. My heart skips. Section 7.4, I recall, bans outdoor combustion devices, yet here I have a clean, electric unit with no real flame. I peel the note off and tuck it into my pocket, bristling at the implication that my UL-listed pit could somehow be an outlaw gadget. Across the fence, I hear Mrs. Patel coaxing her toddler into a car seat for daycare drop-off. The neighborhood hums normal, but in my chest I feel that old spark of tension. Karen has staked the field, and she's started the clock on fines for something that wasn't even a fire. I lift the pit's lid, palm hovering an inch above the coils, still warm from last night's gathering. No soot, no smoke, just harmless lead-style glow. I take a deep breath, knowing I've got exactly 7 days to argue that UL 2236 certification should trump Karen's sticky note decree, before the HOA starts billing me. When I checked my inbox mid-morning, there it was, a pristine PDF from Willow Creek Estates HOA management with the subject line, "Notice of Violation, Section 7.4.1, Open Flame and High Heat Devices." I clicked it open and skimmed the boilerplate. Homeowner, Jordan Lee, Unit 16. Property, 12, Maplewood Drive. Violation, installation and operation of an open flame or high heat device on the rear patio, Section 7.4.1 of the Willow Creek Estates Covenants. Required action, removal of said device within 7 days of this notice. Fine, $100 per day beginning June 16, 2025, if non-compliant. Summary of Safety Chair Report. On June 6, 2025 at approximately 9:15 p.m., HOA Safety Chair Karen Atkins observed an electric fire pit in operation on the rear patio of Unit 16. The device was described as radiating excessive heat and deemed a public safety hazard. Photographic evidence and neighbor statements have been submitted. Immediate removal is required pending further review by the Covenants Committee. My stomach tightened. Open flame device, when the pit had no flame at all. High heat device, an electric coil engineered to stay well below dangerous surface temperatures. Worse, the letter gave no hint that the device was UL listed or that an appeal mechanism existed outside of the standard appeal hearing. Leaning back, I stared at the fine schedule. If I didn't remove the pit by June 15th, I'd owe $100 per day. That could add up fast, almost half the unit's monthly dues in a week. I tucked the notice under my arm, took a deep breath, and headed inside. Time to gather my documentation, UL certification, spec sheets, and perhaps most importantly, the promise of a savvy fire marshal's assessment, before I fired off my response to the Covenants Committee. The countdown to June 15th had officially begun. I'm tending my hummingbird feeder when I hear raised voices from across the fence. A moment later I glimpse Karen's silhouette in her driveway, phone pressed to her ear. Through the thin yard gate I catch snippets of her conversation. "Yes, I'm calling about an unpermitted fire pit device that's radiating excessive heat on my neighbor's patio. It's a public safety hazard, could ignite the deck or spread to houses. Please send someone immediately." She punctuates each sentence with a sharp gesture toward my electric fire pit, still resting on the flagstone. I watch her pocket her phone, head back inside, then re-emerge a minute later, tapping her watch as if timing a bomb countdown. By 3:05 p.m., a marked city fire marshal truck rolls down Maplewood Drive, lights off but engine idling. I jog over just as Captain Laura Nguyen steps out, badge clipped to her belt and a friendly, professional smile under her brimmed cap. Rambling neighbors hover on their porches. Karen rushes forward, brandishing her phone with the 911 transcript. "You see? She's operating a heat-radiating device without a permit. This could burn the whole block down." Captain Nguyen raises an eyebrow at the glowing coils. We'll take a look." She logs the call as non-emergency, radios her truck's vac specialist to monitor any elevated thermal readings, then strides onto my patio with clipboard in hand. I step up beside her. Captain, this unit is UL listed for residential use. No real flame, no open combustion. She nods and crouches to inspect the UL 2236 tag on the pit's base. Meanwhile, Karen paces behind, arms folded, waiting for vindication. The stage is set for round 2, this time with a uniformed authority weighing in on Karen's safety crusade. Just 20 minutes after Karen's 911 call, a bright red fire marshal truck rolls to a quiet stop at my curb. Captain Laura Nguyen steps out, her badge glinting in the late afternoon sun, and her engine-off truck's vac specialist, Tech Sergeant Morales, follows with an infrared camera slung over his shoulder. Both are in crisp uniforms, bodycams already blinking. Neighbors peek through fences as the pair approaches. Captain Nguyen offers a firm handshake. "Good afternoon, Jordan. We received a report of a potential fire hazard. Mind if we take a closer look?" Tech Sergeant Morales kneels beside the pit, powering up the FLIR IR unit. The little screen immediately lights up, showing the glowing coils in vibrant oranges but no hotspots beyond the pit's housing. I guide them through the setup. It's a 1500 WUL listed electric fire pit, no real flame, just heating coils. The model number and UL tag are right here. Captain Nguyen crouches, examining the stamped UL 2236 label, then flips through the spec sheet I hand her. Residential use, max surface temp 250 degrees Fahrenheit, she reads aloud. Behind her, Karen reappears at the gate, phone at the ready. Captain Nguyen pauses, looks up at Karen, then turns back to me. You're welcome to observe, but we'll conduct our inspection per City Code Section 9.2. Let's go. She steps forward methodically. Visual check, inspects clearances, 12 inches from combustible materials, my wicker furniture sits 24 inches away, proper GFCI protected outlet. Temperature scan, Tech Sergeant Morales sweeps the IR camera over the pit. Readings max out at 240 degrees Fahrenheit on the coils, dropping to 95 degrees Fahrenheit on the outer housing, well below the 300 degrees Fahrenheit threshold for high heat device violations. Combustion test. Nguyen holds a smoke stick near the unit's top vent. No embers, no smoke, no flame. She stands, consults her notes, and then, with the calm authority of a seasoned firefighter, addresses the small crowd, including a triumphant Karen. This device complies fully with UL standards and local fire codes. It poses no public safety hazard. There's no open flame, no soot, and surface temperatures are within safe limits. I'm classifying this investigation as no further action. Karen's phone camera falters, her victory lap abruptly halted. Captain Nguyen pockets the clipboard and offers a curt nod. If you have further fire safety concerns, please direct them to the city's code office. But as of now, this unit is cleared. With that, the captain and tech sergeant pack up, wave to the neighbors, and climb back into their truck. The siren lights dim, the engine rumbles to life, and my electric fire pit sits quietly glowing, vindicated by the very authority Karen invoked. As Captain Nguyen finishes her initial walkaround, she turns to me and asks, "Can you show me the UL listing and manufacturer specs?" I reach under the pit's lip, peel back the removable side panel, and point to the metal data plate. UL 2236. Model, Amberglow EG 1500. Rating, 120 VAC, 12.5A, 1500W. For outdoor use only. I hand her the printed spec sheet and the original instruction manual. She flips through, confirming. Electrical rating matches my GFCI outlet, 120 VAC. Surface temperature limits, max 250 degrees Fahrenheit, noted. Spacing requirements, 12 inches. Clearance from combustibles. Behind her, Tech Sergeant Morales snaps a quick photo for his report. Captain Nguyen nods thoughtfully. Everything checks out. This unit meets UL standards for residential outdoor heating appliances. She jots a note, UL certification confirmed under her device compliance section. Karen, still huddled at the fence, catches sight of the tag and rolls her eyes so hard they nearly clack. Captain Nguyen straightens, hands me back the materials, and offers a final observation. Ms. Lee, this UL label is exactly the proof we need. No further code violations here, your pit is good to glow. With that, she closes her notebook, gives me a courteous nod, and signals to Tech Sergeant Morales. Together, they begin packing up, leaving the glowing coils, and Karen's conspiracy, officially extinguished. With the UL tag verified, Captain Nguyen turns to Tech Sergeant Morales and says, "Let's run that heat gun test." Morales powers up a K-type IR thermometer and holds it an inch from the pit's ceramic logs. On his digital display, the coil peaks at 238 degrees Fahrenheit, then drops steadily to 112 degrees Fahrenheit along the pit's outer rim. Next, Nguyen places a combustion gas detector probe near the rear exhaust vent and watches the readout: 0 ppm for carbon monoxide, 0 ppm for combustible vox. She glances around at my wicker furniture, 24 inches from the pit edge, and confirms the pit never exceeds the 240 degrees Fahrenheit safety threshold mandated by Local Code Section 9.2, Outdoor Heating Devices. She thumbs her radio microphone, then faces us both. Under City Code Section 9.2.4, any device with surface temps under 300 degrees Fahrenheit and no open flame is classified as non-hazardous. This unit passes every safety metric. There's zero risk of ignition. Captain Nguyen checks off temperature compliance, combustion emissions and clearance requirements on her report form, then flicks off her bodycam. She offers me a crisp nod. "I'll file this as no public safety hazard, you're fully compliant and may continue operation." Karen, still pressed against the fence, looks deflated. The crowd of neighbors murmurs approval. Marisol mouths, "Score 1 for science," as Captain Nguyen steps away, shoulders squared, leaving my electric fire pit glowing, officially cleared and kazam. Karen's safety crusade flickers out under the fire marshal's seal of approval. The morning after the marshal's thumbs up, I knew the HOA would need official notice before reversing their violation. So I settled in at my kitchen table, coffee in hand and a stack of documents fanned out before me. Captain Nguyen's report, page 1 stamped "No public safety hazard." Tech Sergeant Morales IR readings, thermal graphs and 0 ppm gas readings. UL 2236 certification and spec sheet, model Amberglow EG 1500. Photos from June 6, cozy patio, flickering coils, zero smoke. I opened my email and addressed it to the 5 HOA board members, President, VP, Treasurer, Secretary, Covenants Chair. In the subject line I typed, "Request for Emergency Covenants Committee Meeting, Electric Fire Pit Safety Findings." My body of the message was concise. Board members, per the recent violation notice, Section 7.4.1, please find attached the City Fire Marshal's report, IR temperature logs, and UL certification demonstrating that my electric fire pit poses no public safety hazard. In light of these definitive findings, I respectfully request an Emergency Covenants Committee meeting to rescind the violation and amend Section 7.4.1 to exempt UL-listed electric heating devices. Thank you for your prompt attention. Jordan Lee, Unit 16-inch. With a deep breath, I hit send at 9:17 a.m. Next came the physical prep. I printed color copies of every attachment and slipped them into a 3-ring binder labeled Emergency Hearing, Fire Pit Compliance, complete with tab dividers. Tab 1, Fire Marshal Report. Tab 2, Thermal and Gas Logs. Tab 3, UL Certification. Tab 4, Photo Evidence. Tab 5, Current Covenant Section 7.4.1 Text. I tucked the binder under my arm and dropped off a hard copy on Rita Patel's doorstep, ringing the doorbell with a polite tap. Jordan Lee, Unit 16, emailed the hearing request and left copies here. Thanks. As I walked back, clouds scuttled across the bright Texas sky. The stage was set. Tomorrow evening, the Covenants Committee would have to weigh Karen's fears against cold, hard data. And this time, I'd be ready to show them exactly why my electric fire pit deserved to stay. The Willow Creek Estates clubhouse was uncharacteristically packed when I arrived at 6:55 p.m. The folding chairs set up in neat rows were nearly full, neighbors whispering over coffee and lemonade. At the head table sat the 5 board members, including President Elaine Chambers and Covenant's Chair Mark Avery, each with a copy of my emergency hearing, fire pit compliance binder in front of them. At precisely 7 p.m., Elaine rapped her gavel. Let's come to order. Tonight's sole agenda: review the June 8 violation against Unit 16's electric fire pit and determine appropriate action. I stood and handed a clean copy of the binder to Mark. He nodded, then called on me. Mark Avery, Jordan, please summarize your findings. I took a deep breath and walked the board through. Fire Marshal's report, stamped no public safety hazard, Captain Nguyen's signature. Thermal and gas logs, peak 238 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 CO, 0 VOC readings under Code Section 9.2. UL 2236 certification, Amberglow EG 1500 rated for outdoor residential use. Photo evidence, cozy gathering, no smoke or open flame. Current covenant text, Section 7.4.1, blanket ban on open flame or high heat devices. When I finished, Mark cleared his throat. Thank you. Does any board member have questions? Vice President Marcus Lee asked. Given the Marshal's clearance and UL listing, is the pit truly a violation? Treasurer Sasha Patel added, our covenant language didn't anticipate UL-approved electric units, should we amend? Karen, in the audience, tried to interject but Elaine politely silenced her. Elaine Chambers, we'll stick to board questions first, please. After a brief private huddle, Elaine reopened the floor. I move to rescind the violation notice against Unit 16 and issue a formal apology to Mr. Lee for the overreach. Marcus seconded. They voted 5-0 in favor. Elaine's gavel fell. Motion carried. Violation rescinded. Elaine continued. I further move to amend Section 7.4.1 to exempt UL-listed electric heating devices from the open flame ban. Sasha seconded. Another unanimous 5-0 vote. Elaine smiled. Amendment approved. We'll publish the updated covenant next week. Thank you, Jordan, for your thorough presentation. A ripple of applause filled the room. Even Karen, seated in the back, stared ahead with tight lips but no words. As neighbors filed out, several patted me on the shoulder, one whispered, that binder was bulletproof. Outside, twilight lit up the sky. I closed the clubhouse door behind me, breathing a quiet sigh of relief. My electric fire pit was officially back in business, HOA approved, covenant compliant, and ready for its next smoke-free evening under the stars. Under a sky streaked with violet, I roll my UL-listed Emberglow EG 1500 back into place on the flagstone patio. Beside it, I've propped a small easel sign, hand-lettered. Board-approved electric fire pit, UL-listed and city-cleared. String lights hum overhead, and the air carries the scent of jasmine and fresh-cut grass. A half-dozen neighbors drift in, arms full of marshmallows, graham crackers, and homemade fudge. Even Mr. Patel from Unit 24 ambles over, pulling his daughter's stuffed unicorn on a leash. I fire up the pit with a confident twist of the knob. The coils glow amber, then settle into that familiar, cozy ember glow. Neighbors ooh and ah, settling into chairs around the pit. Marshmallow skewers sizzle as golden brown clouds rise, and laughter ripples through the circle. Across the fence, I glimpse Karen Atkins standing on her back porch, arms crossed. Her visor is off, and she watches in near silence, no phone raised, no protest. Instead, she seems contemplative, as if the gentle warmth and the marshmallow aromas are softening her crusader's heart. Marisol raises her cup in a toast, to science, safety, and sweet s'mores. Glasses clink, root beer, lemonade, iced tea, and for a moment, all that remains is the soft crackle of electric heat and the glow of happy neighbors sharing a smoke-free bonfire night. In Willow Creek Estates, it turns out that a little electricity, good data, and community spirit make for the best kind of fire pit party. By the time August rolled around, the Emberglow EG 1500 had become a fixture of late evening gatherings on Maplewood Drive. Monthly fire pit nights, every first Friday, neighbors now rally around the electric pit, no more smoke complaints, just s'mores, story swaps, and kids chasing glow sticks under the string lights. Covenant newsletter feature. The HOA's August bulletin ran a full page on modern fire pits, electric versus wood, complete with safety tips, installation guides, and a shout-out to UL Standard 2236. Karen's new role. Surprisingly, Karen quietly attended 2 of the fire pit nights. By the third, she was caught approving a neighbor's new patio heater. If it's UL listed, she muttered, then I guess it's okay. Property values and praise. Local realtors began touting Willow Creek Estates as a forward-thinking neighborhood, noting the updated covenants and community events as selling points. A realtor's open house even featured a live demo at our electric pit. Community bonds. What started as a conflict over hazardous heat ended up forging a new tradition, one where safety, science, and shared joy replaced fear and finger-pointing. Standing by the glowing coils one warm evening, I watched Karen laugh as her grandson marshaled his skewer to the perfect toast. It wasn't the victory I'd envisioned, no dramatic apology, no public fanfare, but a quiet moment of togetherness that felt like the real win. In Willow Creek Estates, the future of backyard fire isn't about fighting flames, it's about lighting up friendships.